If you hate flying for more than 8 hours, this video is for you. Do you like to explore this beautiful planet? Are you on a budget? Is there somewhere you always wanted to go to but just haven't gotten around to? Got 2 weeks of work? Want more bang for your buck? If you answered yes to one or more of those questions, then this video is definitely for you and I will give you the ultimate travel hack. And if you're wondering what my authority is to give you advice on how to book an around the world trip, well, I've done it twice. I ended up back here in Sydney where I started from, so I would call that a success. But in all seriousness, there are a lot of travel hacks coming up. Also, welcome to my channel. My channel is Non-Stop Travel VV because I will never stop traveling, obviously. And VV, that's my initials. So why would you book an around the world trip? Well, if you plan to go somewhere that's like far away, like on the other side of the world, or like at least a 10-hour or more flight away, you might as well break it up into little pieces. Why? Well, I mean, long flights, nobody really enjoys to fly for more than 10 hours. And if you have the time, it's just much more fun to do it that way. That's the first reason. Fun, definitely more fun. Second reason is you just see places along the way that you maybe wouldn't go to otherwise because you're like, yeah, this is a cool place, I will go there sometime. No, you can do it right now on the way. If you love flying like I do, I just love being on airports, I love flying. That's another reason, because then you have many flights and it might be cheaper than actually booking a return ticket to your destination where you really want to go to. It is cheaper if you book low-cost airlines. So we will be looking in this video, we will be looking for the cheapest option, but that's still also convenient. So we don't want to have flights that start like at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. Even 8 or 9 a.m. For me personally, it's too early because I do not want to get up at 5 a.m. to be at the airport in time and arrive at a destination in the evening, especially if there will be a jet lag, because then I can go straight to my hotel, sleep, and then have at least a day or two to explore the city that I'm in. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because there are a lot of exciting trips coming up very soon. And obviously, this around the world trip that I just booked is also coming up very soon. So if you want to see how it actually goes, please subscribe, maybe even give it a like. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started here. Okay, so first step, you need a computer. You could probably do it from your phone, but I recommend like having it on a slightly bigger screen because you need to have many tabs open. Also have a notebook and a pencil, obviously, because you're going to write stuff down. Have quite a lot of time and peace and quiet because you really need to focus. You do not want to stuff it up because then you end up stranded somewhere, or you just like, or something happens with like different time zones. So there's a lot that you have to consider. And for me, like I do it sort of first thing in the morning when I'm still fresh and my brain is working, because you will sit probably for like an hour or 2 or 3. So in my particular case, I'm going from Sydney, Australia to Vienna. And instead of just doing a return ticket, I decided to have many stops. Going from Australia, here's the first advice. If you go east from Australia and you want to have your first stop in the US, do a low-cost flight with Jetstar to Hawaii. That's how I've started last time and that's how I'm doing it this time. Because you do get cheap one-way tickets to Hawaii, but consider that you cannot bring a lot of luggage. You can, but it will make your ticket more expensive. And I find it more convenient as well if you can just hop on and off your planes with your carry-on, that means carry-on trolley, like this, like on my t-shirt that, by the way, I've designed and I'm selling in my Etsy store. If you're interested, this is my Non-Stop Travel VV t-shirt and the link is obviously in the description. Anyway, carry-on luggage only. For me, it makes it so much easier. If you travel in summer, super easy. You really don't need that much stuff. Trust me, I've done it and it's easier, especially for a girl not to carry heavy suitcases, because you have to get them in an Uber, you have to get them on trains, them eat the suitcase. So yeah, it's just much nicer. You might have to wash somewhere on the way, but that's fun too. If you want to know more about traveling light, I do have a video, and I think that's probably my most popular episode, about how to pack less than 7 kilos carry-on luggage for a trip. So yeah, please check out that video if you're interested on the packing aspect of it. I will do another packing video, because this time I'm going around the world and I will be mostly in places where it's winter. So it's gonna be freezing cold. So that's gonna be a whole new challenge, because I need to stay under 7 kilos as well for this trip, which probably means that I just have to wear my warmest clothes. But stay tuned, there will be a video coming up for that. You might want to make a cup of tea, because you will be sitting down for quite some time. While I'm making my tea, so I already booked my flights about 2 months ago. I wanted to film it live while I'm booking my flights, but it was quite stressful, because you have to be very quick. Because if you find a special offer, a really good price, you have to be really quick because of different time zones and everything. So I decided to repeat the process now. Hopefully they won't be cheaper than when I booked them, because that will be a little bit upsetting. But I got a decent price, getting all the destinations where I wanted to go to. Is it stressful? Is it slightly stressful? Well, yes, because I book with different airlines, and if it happens that a flight gets cancelled or they change the time, they actually have changed the time to 2 of my flights, but just like 40 minutes or something, so that's fine. So you always need to leave a little bit of room anyway in between your flights. Never, I've had that a lot of times, it was never for more than like an hour. Usually it's 20 minutes or 40 minutes, so it doesn't make much of a difference, so that's fine. But if you end up having a flight cancelled or something like for a day, or there's no flights, so there is, like, I'm not saying it's not completely risk-free, but I think that's just makes it a bigger adventure and makes it more fun. And again, I've done it before and it worked out perfectly fine. You would have to be really unlucky if something happens, and hopefully you're not. So yeah, that's why I also recommend that you leave like a day or 2, or maybe even 3 days for each destination, because then even if the flights get changed and you get rebooked or something, you'll still be fine. I already put the tea bag in. I don't need 2. Woman, focus. So yeah, as you can tell, you don't have to be very smart in order to book an around the world trip. If I can do it, and I just put 2 tea bags in 1 teacup, then you can do it too. What websites do I use? I'm glad you asked. So I'm not sponsored, but in my experience, the best one is Booking.com. I book all my hotels at Booking.com. It pays off if you always book through the same app or website, because they give you a genius reward if you book a lot with them. Plus also they price match anyway. So even if you don't get your rewards yet, you see it somewhere cheaper, you can still book it through Booking.com. Why? Because they have great customer support. I ended up canceling a reservation a few months ago, because I was planning to go to New York, but then didn't. And I had a hotel booked that was over $2,000, because I would have stayed there for a while. They didn't give me a refund. So I was communicating with the hotel and waiting for my refund, because I was like within the free cancellation policy. Nothing happened, like I didn't get anywhere with them. So then I contacted Booking.com, their customer support, and they instantly fixed the problem. So their customer support, if anything should happen, they always help, and they're very quick. And for my flights, I use Skyscanner. So I've watched other videos, because I also like to educate myself constantly. And I've seen people using Google Flights, And I was like, hey, that's cool. Maybe I don't need anything else than that. And I tried Google Flights, and for some reason, all the flights or most of the flights were more expensive than on Skyscanner. So I've used Skyscanner for 10 plus years, and yeah, I haven't found anything better yet. It does everything you need to do, and yeah, so I've got really good experience with that. And you're doing the actual booking of your flight through partner websites anyway, so it just gives you the best deal, and then you complete the booking not through Skyscanner itself, but through the actual airline or the online travel agency. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so open your browser, obviously, and then open Skyscanner. I have a shortcut. And then let's open a few more, depending on how many stops you're gonna plan. So there's also an option with Skyscanner to book several flights in one go. I will show you how. I've tried that. For some reason, it came out more expensive than doing the many tabs. Let's actually use my personal itinerary as an example. Take your notebook. You can do it on an iPad or whatever if you're all electronic, but I'm quite old-fashioned. What I did is Sydney. Next stop is Honolulu, then San Francisco, then New York. I love New York, my necklace, by the way. That's New York. It seems to be Arabic writing. I get that question so many times, like what does it say? It says nothing, it's the skyline of New York. Then Reykjavik, Vienna, because I'm gonna visit my family for Christmas. Then Dubai, because I just love Dubai, DXB. Then we're going to Bangkok. And then we're going to, and I'm very bad in pronouncing this, even though a friend of mine, she comes from that town and she tries to teach me how to pronounce it. Let me have a sip of tea first. This is a tough one. Okay. It is pronounced Guangzhou, something like that. It is just north of Hong Kong. It's in China. And I'm very excited of going there. I don't have much time, less than a day, unfortunately. It still counts because I will still explore. So it will come on my travel channel. Please subscribe. Okay, and then from there, back to Sydney. So how many stops do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Lots of stops. Sometimes, going from one city to the next, you will have a layover or change planes somewhere. I don't really count those. If you want to count them as well to make your around the world trip sound even more exciting. Yes, I mean, but you will probably, if you only have like 2 hours or somewhere to change planes, it doesn't really count because you only will be at the airport. You're not gonna leave the airport in that short time. But if you're lucky, you can even have like 10 hours somewhere. That sort of counts because you can leave the airport. Oh, one very important thing. You might need a visa depending on where you're going. So always check with all your destinations if you need a visa. Some places need if you're even there for like a few hours, if you want to leave the airport, you need a visa, and it's usually, depending on your passport, usually not a problem, but it might cost you something extra. So consider that. The other thing is, depending on the airline that you're flying with, they all have different restrictions for your luggage, unfortunately. Always check. There are some low-cost airlines, so we're already only flying with the trolley, the small, really small suitcase, and the backpack. And there are airlines, especially in the US, low-cost airlines, I think Spirit is one of them, where you can only bring one piece. So that's only your backpack or only your trolley. So be careful. You don't want to suddenly only realize when you're about to get on the plane and then they charge you extra for an extra piece of luggage. Always check the policies with the airlines. This is one of the reasons why you need a good couple of hours, because it's not just booking the flights, it's also checking the conditions. And again, I would definitely recommend to do this only with carry-on, because it just makes it much easier, especially if you just at some places maybe have a day. You don't want to be even early at the airport to check in your luggage. You don't want your luggage to get lost. That's another reason. It just makes it easier. You have it with you. And also, you don't want to wait for your luggage to come out because you're excited, you're at a new destination and you only have maybe 24 hours or 2 days. You don't want to have to wait for half an hour. At least I don't. I don't know. Maybe you enjoy waiting for your luggage, but most people probably don't. So we've got several tabs open. We will probably need more, but yeah. So this is Skyscanner. There it is. So let's get started. A good way to start, if you want the cheapest options, is if you just put the place that you want to really go to, like in my case that was Vienna. If you just put that in as if you are going to do a return ticket. Let's just try that now. So that's short for Vienna. And then let's just say we're departing in December. Let's just say on the 11th, which is red, which means a little bit more expensive, but let's just say from the 11th until the 27th. That's a green one, so that would be a cheaper date. And then we select that. Economy, unless you fancy and you want to do business class. And let's have a little search here. This is a good way to start off because there are no direct flights and it will have stops somewhere, and that will inspire you where you could have your stops, and then you just break it up yourself and use those stops because they might be the ones with the best offers. Okay, so let's go to cheapest. Let's sort by cheapest. 2,250, that's actually pretty cheap. I should have done that. So mine, yeah, my total is, by the way, about $3,000 for all my flights. Yes, it is more, but those are probably absolutely horrible stops. Let's just see. If you click on select, it will tell you exactly where your stops will be. You need to go to this little drop down. Okay, so this stop, first of all, it would leave very early in Sydney. I don't like that. Then, it goes to Bali. It has a 5-hour wait. Also not recommended. It's not long enough to leave the airport, but you're just waiting there forever and ever, and you will be tired because you got up very early in the morning. You don't want that either. So this is an example of what you don't want. Then it goes to Taipei, very short layover, okay. Taipei to Milan. And then, yeah, you've got the whole day in Milan, but you'll be so tired from all of this, unless you are very good at sleeping on the plane. I'm not. Not loving it. But what do we learn here? That it might be cheaper to fly to Milan rather than to Vienna. This is actually was also the case 2 months ago when I booked it. So then I was looking for flights to Milan. General rule, flights within Europe, there are lots of low-cost airlines and they're all very cheap. You get flights, one-way flights for less than $100 easily. Same within the US, usually pretty cheap and lots of options. So you don't have to just book the final destination that you want to go to. Any city will do, and then from there you go take a low-cost airline to wherever you want to go to. So this was good inspiration. Let's see what else. So this is already quite a little bit more expensive. Let's see. This is Air France. So it will go through Abu Dhabi. So that would be a good idea to have a stop in Abu Dhabi. Also amazing place to be. And then Paris. See? So you could book your around the world trip. Sydney. Yes, you could book. Now you could go and book a ticket from Sydney to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so if you just don't select a return date, then it's gonna be a one-way flight. So there we go. Not crazy. Oh, there it is. Crazy cheap now. Need to give it some time. Click on cheapest. Okay, so we got something for $931 to Abu Dhabi as an example. So that means now we need to check what time do we arrive there. So always look at because time zones, you know. So plus 2 days. So that means you're leaving on the 11th, but you're arriving 2 days later on the 13th. Very late at night. So pretty much if you want to spend a day there, you want to have the 14th there and then fly on the 14th at night. Or if you want to have 2 nights on the 15th, I think it's worth to stay 2 nights. So let's say on the 15th, we're going from Abu Dhabi to Paris, because that was the next suggested place. Let's say the 15th. On the 15th. No return date. Search. Exciting. What do we have? Ooh, that is very cheap. Look at that. $101. By the way, I'm set to Australian dollars here, which is slightly or quite a bit cheaper than US dollars. But that would be in US dollars maybe like 70 or something. That is super cheap. Let's check this one out. Oh, okay, so this has long layovers by itself. So this will make your around the world trip, it just adds extra stops. And if you have time and if you don't mind, there you've got 11 hours in Aqaba, which is very cool. That's cool, you have the whole day there, so you don't even need a hotel. This is actually awesome. But yes, you have to get up super early. So up to you. I wouldn't do it, but if you're fine with that, let's just say you are fine with that. And then you get an overnight stay in Milano. So this would inspire me already to maybe just search for Abu Dhabi to Milano. Let's try that. Abu Dhabi to Milan. And that was the 14th of December. Yeah, no return dates. Let's see how much that one is. Maybe we don't get to see Paris, but looks like it's going to be around the same price. Yes. So you can decide if you want extra stops, go all the way to Paris and then do Paris, Vienna, or you just do Milan. And then, because Milano is awesome, which one shall we choose now? Let's do Milan and then Milan, Vienna. We're leaving at night, so we've got 2 full days in Abu Dhabi, which is awesome. Is this Abu Dhabi? Yes, in Abu Dhabi. And then we have quite a long flight because we are stopping. Where are we stopping? In Bucharest. Ooh, in the middle of the night. I would not recommend that. See, so you have to be careful. This shouldn't be that long, but because you have this overnight wait in Bucharest, I've done stuff like that overnight, like 7 hours in Las Vegas last year, I think. Similar thing, arriving like at midnight and then starting again like at 8 a.m. And I would not recommend it. I slept on the dirty floor in the airport with a few other people. And it was not pleasant at all. It's not worth saving like $200 or something. But it was a night from Saturday to Sunday, and hotels are always very expensive. That's another thing. When I'm doing my around the world trip, I make sure that I don't have, like I start on a Sunday or a Monday, and then by the time it's weekend again, I'm hopefully at the destination, in my case, where I don't have to pay because I'm staying with family. Because yeah, it's always good to avoid expensive nights in big cities. Okay, we don't like that one, do we? So let's go back to our Paris one. There we are in Milano. Yes, we arrived very late, but we can book ourselves a nice hotel or cheap hotel at the airport. We can have breakfast in Milan, and then slowly make our way to the airport, maybe even lunch. You've got time for lunch. You can explore a little bit. So you get to see Milan on the way. And then you get to Paris, at a nice time. You can have dinner in Paris. Awesome. And then spend a night or 2 or 3 in Paris. Let's just say 2 nights. So on the 18th of November. Where are we? Which tab are we here? It does get a bit messy, I admit. That's why you really need to focus. So we are now in Paris. And we're going to Vienna. 16 on the 18th. On the 18th. And it's green, so it's cheap as well. Let's have a look, shall we? Cheers. Nice and cheap. Very nice and cheap. So the cheapest, and it's got even cheaper than that, 71. Okay, this has a layover, so you might in that case spoil yourself with the direct one. Let's see, the direct one, 91. Totally worth it. Also leaves at night, so you get 2 full days in Paris, and you arrive quite late in Vienna, but if your family is nice enough, they will pick you up. Mine is nice enough, they will pick me up. Well, there you go. And then you spend, in my example, I would spend 2 weeks in Vienna. However, in my case, I was not too inspired by starting to go to Dubai first or Abu Dhabi. They are next to each other, they're pretty much one thing now. I wanted to go to the US first, simply because I wanted to see New York before Christmas. Like Christmas spirit and the Christmas markets in New York, that was always my dream. I've been to New York many times in summer. I've never seen it when it's like cold, and hopefully there will be snow. Let's now book at my exact itinerary. Let's see how much it would be now. Sydney to Honolulu. Depart dates. I'm not going to give you my exact date so that you can't stalk me. Start on the 5th. Let's see. Cheapest, 683. I think I paid 400 or less. So yeah, prices do go up, so it's, you have to be lucky. So that's why you also, if you're a bit flexible, you can just do this and shop around and see what about the next day. Is it a little bit cheaper? Let's see. So that's also not a direct flight, I can tell by the time, so that's not great. What about the 7th of December? Let's see. So yeah, you can already tell this is why you need time. Oh, this is a good one. 573, so we found a cheaper one now. And this is a direct one. And that's Jetstar. So this is exactly what I booked with. Yeah, so this is awesome. And it arrives on the same day because of time zone. So you're flying with the time. So you arrive, you leave Sydney before you're arriving, technically, because you're arriving very early in the morning on the same day. If it's not on the same day, it says +1 or +2 right here. So it's always better if you click on select, and you see better because you have the drop down and you see exactly. It says you arrive also on the 7th, same day that you're leaving. So, and now we want to not spend a lot of time in Honolulu because hotels are expensive there. I spent a lot of time there last time, it's actually quite expensive. So, and I wanted to get to New York quickly. So I wanted to have a flight in the afternoon on the same day, having breakfast in Honolulu and then heading out again to San Francisco. Okay, so I opened some fresh tabs. So Sydney, Honolulu, nope. Now we need Honolulu to San Francisco. There you go. Also on the 7th, no return date. Let's see. Nice, I like it. Look at that. Everything will be cheaper now than when I booked it. It will be quite upsetting. Okay. Direct flight, awesome. Alaska Airlines. Again, do check. Just Google the airline and Google carry-on restrictions, Alaska Airlines. Then you will see if you can bring your 2 pieces. There are airlines that are more generous where there is no weight limits with your carry-on. That's awesome. So that would be even better. But usually under 7 kilos is, I think, a general, like it's a good idea to have. Okay, so we are in San Francisco on the same day. It's still the 7th of December. So now I'm leaving San Francisco on the next day already. Let's check. San Francisco for the 8th. SFO. To New York. There are several airports, so just type in New York and any, yeah, so then, because it doesn't really matter, they're all about the same distance from Manhattan. So we are leaving on the 8th. Search. This is exciting. I love doing this. Like, I really enjoy this. It is exhausting. Your brain will get a little bit like bzzz. But in the end, it's very satisfying. Okay, cheapest. This has another stop in Phoenix. Do we want that? No. Let's see how much it would be with a, let's see, direct. There we have it. 213. Worth it. Alaska Airlines again. It's good if you like try to keep the same airlines. It makes it a bit easier. Okay, so now we are in New York on the 8th. And now, like, I stayed for 3 nights in New York. Up to you. How long do you want to stay? So this is now Friday. Personally, I would try to start my trip on a different day. But again, this is just an example because now I have the most expensive nights in New York and it's going to cost a lot, especially in December. Very, very expensive. But again, just an example. So let's say we leave on Monday on the 11th and go from New York. Any airport, doesn't make a difference. To, let's see Vienna, because it will give us a stop in between, because I doubt that there are direct flights. If they are, they would be very expensive. Let's just again see what it suggests, where to stop over, and then we can break it up ourselves again. On the 11th of December. Search. Let's see. Cool. It's still looking, but ooh, 398. Come to mama. Ah, yeah, that's the one. I came across it before that has so many stops. It stops in London and in Milan. Again, might be a good idea to stop in Milan. I like this one because it leaves at night. You get an extra day in New York without having to pay for a hotel again that night. Yes, you have to sleep on the plane. You also go to London. Let's see, let's check it out. How much time do we have in London? Only 2 hours 40. It's not gonna get you anything other than being tired and sitting in the airport. But you can stretch your legs. It's not the worst. It just breaks up your sleeping time on the plane, but it's sort of cheap. Let's say this is okay for you. And we're taking this flight as well. Okay, cool. Then you wanna come back home, I'm assuming. Then I wanted to go to Dubai because I love Dubai. It's, yeah, shopping and it's just insane. It's such an amazing place to be. Let's say we are departing. Let's take that out. We are departing on the 28th because we have a free place to stay in Vienna. Search. That looks a bit pricey. That should be, ooh, there it is. This will have a stopover, so you get an additional stop somewhere. Yeah, direct is crazy expensive, but, ooh, it goes through Tel Aviv. And I mean, I do not want to be political here, but right now that's not a good idea, unfortunately, which is very sad. Not because of the flights, but because of the political situation. Yeah, consider that. Unfortunately, these days you also have to consider places to avoid where there is war, because you do not want to get stuck there. It's definitely not worth it. Okay, Amman and Riyadh. It takes you quite some time to get there, and you get to Dubai very early in the morning. But for the heck of it, let's select that one. So here you have the little +1. So be careful, which means when you book your hotel and also your next flight, you are not arriving on the 28th of December, you are arriving on the 29th. Yeah. So, which means if you want to stay there, maybe spend New Year's in Dubai on the 29th, leave, let's say on the 1st of January. We're testing Dubai, Bangkok. We're going from Dubai to Bangkok on the 1st of January to Bangkok. I'm not going on the 1st of January, but let's see how much it is. Oops. booked the return by mistake. I need to get rid of this. Put the 1st of January here. Let's see. There are flights on the 1st of January and also the 25th of December. I checked. Pilots have to work, unfortunately. I mean, fortunate for us, people who travel. Alrighty then, so what do we have here? That's not too bad, 471. Yeah, so that's also the airline that I booked with. And it goes through India, which I've never been, and it is very exciting. I cannot tell you yet what the airline is like, but I will be able to tell you. Subscribe, because yes, I will review the airlines. So that will be very exciting. Okay, so again, let's just say we're booking this one. We are arriving in Bangkok on the next day, which means on the 2nd of January. If you want to stay in Bangkok, maybe 2 nights. We leave on the 4th, and we are in the home stretch here. Almost there, guys. Bangkok and Sydney. On. Ooh, very expensive. They're all rent. Let's just say, what did we see on the 4th? Let's see how expensive that is. So this is why I have my Guangzhou layover, because I was booking with a Chinese airline. So I didn't actually select that I wanted to go there, but it just happened that way, and I'm very excited about it. And that's why I have less than 24 hours, because it's actually a layover. Oh, this goes through Hong Kong. That's awesome. It is very expensive though. Oh, cheapest. I didn't select cheapest. What do we have here? See, 3 stops. In China, and in China. So that is a crazy thing to do. If you're up for it, cool, but this will be exhausting, 38 hours. Let's rule that one out. Here. There we have one in, I'm not even trying to pronounce it, in China. We have 1 stop, 18 hours. This is similar to what I'm doing. 731, let's do this. Cool. Let's take a closer look at it. So yes, perfect to have dinner in Xiamen. I'm so sorry if I pronounce it wrong. It's definitely wrong. So that's enough time to leave the airport. Again, you might need a visa, double check. So that might make it a little bit expensive, your dinner. But hey, you're having Chinese food in China. I mean, that is very cool. I would definitely do it. And you get to Sydney. In the end, you're arriving in Sydney on the 5th of January. There you go. So now you sit down with your phone or a calculator and you calculate how much is it all up. I'm not going to do that now because, yeah, I'm just telling you mine is about 3,000 Australian dollars. Then, of course, you need to add the cost for hotels. Is it cheaper than doing it direct? Probably not, but it's way more fun and you get to stay in different cities and it's just exciting. Plus, I'm also doing it a little bit for you guys, for my travel channel, because it's just gonna be a fun trip and I get so many exciting destinations. And yeah, in my case, I have also Reykjavik, which is also technically a layover on the way from New York to Vienna. But I get almost 24 hours there, so I'm gonna explore. I'm gonna be out and about in Iceland. Okay guys, so this is it from me. I hope I inspired you to travel around the world. I did it in, I think, 2016 and I loved every second of it. Everything worked out well, in and out from every single airport, and it was quite cheap back then, I have to say. So it didn't cost me much more than doing it directly. And this time it is a bit more pricey because I'm doing it before Christmas. It's always more expensive to travel in December, but I haven't seen my family since 2019. So it's been a long time and I want a real, sorry if you're offended by that if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, but for me a real Christmas has snow and is freezing cold and I want a real Christmas. Stay tuned because it will all come on my travel channel. You will see Christmas markets in Vienna. You do not want to miss out. And yeah, I hope this was interesting for you. I hope it wasn't too stressful because one last important thing. So you will have all your windows open and then you click on booking each single one, and you have to be sort of quick because prices do go up, especially with low-cost airlines. So once you have everything locked in and everything works out perfectly with your timing, you have to have your credit card ready and you go boom, 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 and quickly book every single one before the price goes up. Very important. I think when I did it, two prices went up a little bit, but because it was such a complex task to book everything, I just rolled with it, and it wasn't much. It went up like maybe 30 bucks. Yeah, and then the next step is to book all your hotels on booking.com. But there, at least there's no stress. I haven't even booked all my hotels yet. I've booked my New York one because I got a good deal there. Thank you, booking.com. That will be much more relaxed. You don't have to have many tabs open. You just do it in your own time and yeah, have fun with it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up if you learned something or if you found it interesting or entertaining. And yeah, stay tuned for many more exciting videos coming up. Bye! Please consider you now how to book it. This around. Second reason is east. Is it east? Yes, it is east. If you go east, it is definitely a good idea for, if you go east, the best stop, the cheapest way to get yourself from the